All right, friends, let's draw a 3D slice of pie. All right, first thing, you have a pencil and you have a slightly off-white piece of paper. Make sure that that piece of paper is wide instead of tall. One way you turn it, it's taller than it is wide. This is nearly a square, but I do need for you to turn it wide. All right, first thing, I need for you to do a little bit of a measurement. I need for you to lay your finger like I'm doing right now. I'm just using my index finger, and I have laid it in this bottom corner right here. Okay, so put your index finger in that bottom corner, and just like next to your finger, it doesn't have to touch, but close. You need to put a dot right near your fingernail. Okay, so I lay my finger down, and my finger's right at the edge, and I've got my whole finger laying on the board, and right up here, like next to my fingernail, and my pencil was not touching my finger, it's just right next to it, I just made a little dot. That's going to kind of help us get started with our pie. Okay, so what I need for you to do is to really listen to what I'm saying. And watch me first, and then I'll pause and give you a moment to draw what I just did. So the first thing that I need for you to do is watching me. I don't want you to draw a vertical line. I want you to draw a line that is a little bit diagonal, and I came down too far, so I'm going to stop and erase. Okay, so a little bit diagonal, and it needs to be a good finger's width away from the bottom edge of that. So there's a little gap right at the bottom. Okay, so just some space at the bottom. Don't come all the way down, but a kind of a diagonal line, and you can see sort of the slope that mine is at. It's not like super diagonal, it's just coming at an angle just a bit. Okay, the next thing that I need for you to do is you're going to draw, it's going to sort of go horizontal, but at a little bit of an angle too. So if you'll watch me, so what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line, and it's going to get closer and closer and closer to this bottom corner down here as you go. Now I didn't get to the corner, but you're going to get close. So you see how there is like a wider space right here, and then it gets narrower down here. Okay, so this is going to help us make our pie piece look 3D. Okay, incidentally, this is called an obtuse angle. Obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees, and a 90-degree angle is like an L, where the line is straight up and down, and straight vertical, and straight horizontal. So this one, it's wider than that, so that's called an obtuse angle. All right, so the next thing, and this is be a whole lot easier, is that we're going to make our pie crust. So think about how thin pie crust is. Now, like not super thin, like the width of a hair or something, but it's pretty thin. So what I need for you to do is to draw a line that is parallel to that first one that we did, and I need you not to go down and touch, so you're leaving a gap right there. But parallel means that you stay the same distance apart the entire time. So we're not letting this line get closer. It's kind of staying the same distance apart as it's going along. Okay, so a parallel line. Okay, so we're making our crust, and it doesn't need to be like super thick. So you're doing it kind of close to that first line that we did. All right. As soon as you get done with that, we're going to continue, and we're going to go parallel to this bottom line. And if it gets a little wonky, and if it's a little bit close in some spots, that's okay, because we're not drawing with this with a ruler, so we're just doing this freehand, and it's okay. So we've got our two lines, and then I need for you to close this at the bottom end. Do not close it up here at the top. We're just closing it down here at the bottom end. okay? So we've got our parallel lines, and it is closed down here at the bottom end. All right. So watch this next part so that this is not confusing and you don't do this the wrong way. Okay, so these two little lines right here, do not write this on your paper. I'm just going to write it just so you can see. The line on the left, I'll put an L, and the line on the right, I'm going to put an R. Do not do this on yours. I'm just showing you left and right. Okay, so the right-hand line right here, from this line right here, we're going to stay parallel to this right here. So we need to make a line that sort of slopes down, starting from that right point at the top up here. So starting from that right side line, and you're coming down, and you're making kind of a parallel line, parallel to this bottom edge down here. So, and you're coming down close to the end where we did the first one. And then you're going to draw a vertical line down and touch the end of that crest. Alright, I'm going to erase my little L and my little R just because we have this part done. Okay, so yours should look like this. We still have an opening right here, okay? Now, I need for you, because this is like the side view of our pie, we're about to make the top of the pie right here. I'm going to get you to do a line that curves just a little bit and stops about right there, okay? And if you can imagine, we're about to do the line that comes down and connects right here, okay? So you don't want this line to be too short, like you don't want to stop right here. That would be the skinniest wedge of pie. So you want to come up, and I just arced just a little bit. It's just a tiny bit of a curve. Because you think about a pie dish, it's round. So the edge of the pie crust is rounded. Okay, and then once you have got that done, now you're going to come in a straight line down to here, okay? So we're making the other side of our pie wedge. I'll turn this just a moment so I can draw that properly, and I'll turn it back for you. Okay, so this is the top of our pie, and this is the side view of the pie. Okay, let's finish our crust. So on this little line right here that's not connected to anything, you are just going to kind of curve and do that sort of little scalloped edge that a pie crust would have, and then you round off and come and kind of stop at this little point up here at the top. Now I got just a little bit off, so I'm going to stop and go back and fix that. Okay, so finish your pie crust. Now, if you want a like a cherry on top or a dollop of whipped cream or something like that, that is fine. The thing is, though, we have to cut this out in a minute. So you don't want, if you did a cherry, and I'm just going to draw one right here. You know how a cherry is basically a circle, but then you have that little stem part. That is going to be super, super difficult to cut out. It's not impossible, but if you want to draw a cherry, I might encourage you to draw the cherry and make the stem kind of like on top of the pie right here, not where the stem is sticking out, where we're going to have to cut this out, because what we're going to do in a second after we color it is we're going to cut it out. So we don't want that to be difficult to cut out. So you could do like a cherry on top with a stem, but make the stem kind of overlap on top of the pie so that when we get ready to cut it, it's not a big deal. Now, if you want whipped cream, this is how you can do whipped cream. It is kind of like a C shape laying on its side, and I'm going to erase a portion of my pie right here where it's going to be sort of sticking up, and then do another little curve, and on this side swoop upward like that, and then you can come down and connect, okay? And actually that didn't overlap that like I thought it was going to, so I'm going to draw that line back in there. So there's my little dollop of whipped cream. I drew it this way where the dollop is sticking up above, so that's just up to you how you want to do that. So just a little dollop of whipped cream if you want it. And if not, you don't have to have anything on the top of your pie if you don't want it. That's totally up to you, okay? So the next thing I need for you to do now is after you've drawn it, you are going to take some markers and you are going to color your pie, okay? So color the crust, color the inside of the pie, top of the pie. If you did any kind of little extra something on top, you color that also. And then you are very, very, very carefully going to cut it out so that we get rid of any background. We don't want that left over. So after you color it, you are going to very, very carefully cut it out. And then I will show you in a moment what we're going to do to stand it up to make it look 3D, really 3D. We're going to put it on a plate. Okay, can't wait to see your pies.